Good day and welcome to the first episode of Driving Growth with Grownomics. Today we have got Ginny from RS Global Immigration Australia. Ginny is one of the leaders in the industry. She has grown tremendously over the last 7 years, and I want to hear about all of her growth story today. So Ginny, for people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us a little bit about your business, and don't forget to mention about how you are also participating in council elections this year.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. Hello to all the viewers. This is Ginny from RS Global Immigration Australia. I am a registered migration agent. Our office is based in Lalor and I have been practicing since 2018. I am running a small to medium-sized company from the past 6 to 7 years, which is growing slowly day by day, and I'm enjoying that growth. Yes, I do want to mention about the council elections. I am contesting from South Ward in the Mitchellshire Council. So in case if you live in the area Beveridge or Wallen, you will see my name on the ballot paper, and please support, please vote. Thank you.
Now, that's great, Kenny. So that's a great introduction. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in this industry.
Sure. I did mention briefly previously too that I've started this business back in 2018. I arrived in Australia in 2007. I studied Bachelor's of Accounting from Central Queensland University, and I was working as an assistant accountant with a migration law firm. That's when I realized that there is some sort of gap in the market which I will be able to fulfill if I become a migration agent. That's when I decided to do this particular course. Once I finished my course, I was very clear on the point that I'm going to start my own business, which I did back in 2018. From home, from a small room to garage to an office, and now to a bigger office. Thank you.
No, that's great. Right. So, Ginny, that journey of migrating, or rather transitioning from a accountant or accounting background to migration is way different. What prompted you? Why did you think there was a space for another migration agent in the industry?
Sure. As I said previously, that, I was working as an assistant accountant in a migration law firm. So I could actually see the gaps very clearly, to be honest, rather than, hearing it from people. I could see the gaps in the market while working with a migration agent. I realized that there is a need of more customized or tailored solutions to clients' problems. I realized that, there are so many people who are sometimes not able to express themselves because the person they are speaking to while getting a consultation is not patient enough to listen to them. And I thought that rather than just providing one solution to everybody, it was the time to give them more tailored and customized solutions to their problems.
Right. And specifically, I know that you do migration for a lot of popular artists coming from overseas. So how did you get to do that? That's very interesting. And I'm sure everyone would like to hear, some of the most astonishing stories that you've got to say about some of the artists that you've organized visas for.
Sure. I think a lot of people would already know that I go to a lot of events where a lot of artists are there, and I get to meet the organizers of those events. That's when, you get into that conversation that we are planning another event and we would want to call this particular artist. With all due respect to them, I want to say one thing, that the artists they invite here, when we have to process their visas, sometimes it's a bit of struggle for us because we feel that we really don't know how to address that particular person because they are very, very popular. They've got a lot of fame. And sometimes you feel reluctant getting your team involving into that particular procedure because you feel that, oh, what if, if we follow up for documents, how would that person react? So it was not easy to get into that sort of entertainment visas because it involves a person who is already at a very good or a very high position, and then you are doing their visas. So you have to be very mindful of how you interact with them, how many times you can take the follow-up. But it has been very interesting, and it has been a learning curve for myself and for my team. We started doing it just because I was attending, as I said, quite a lot of events, and then I got in conversation with a lot of organizers, and we actually love doing that now. And some of the artists are so humble and they are ready to help you in whatever way we need to get their visas done.
So, Ginny, can you tell us about some of the more famous or popular artists that you worked with?
Sure. Very recently, we did visa for Sargi Maan. She is one of the very popular Punjabi artists. Prior to that, we have been migration partners for Sargun Mehta. She is also a Punjabi artist. Before that, also we have done quite a few. One of the artists was a new name in the industry. She's from Canada. Her name is Sumit Dhillon. But she was, it was really nice working with a new artist who is going to emerge in the near future. After that, we've met so many artists, as in we haven't done their visas, but we have been their visa partners, as in we have accommodated to their other visa needs, but not specifically bringing them here. For example, Debi Maksuspuri, he's also very well known in the Punjabi industry, and we've guided him with some of his visa issues.
Right. Okay. Now, tell me, does this help in terms of marketing? Working with some of the popular names, does it help you get your brand out there? Does it help you get your name out there? And does that bring in new clients?
Yes, absolutely. When we do the visas for the artists, they do actually spread the name, because once their visas are approved, they do a lot of marketing activities for us. For example, putting a post on their page. For example, making a short video and posting it on social media. It does create a lot of impact and it does generate a lot of business as well.
Fantastic. Now, Ginny, I know you said, you've grown over the years. The business has grown to now have so many more employees. Talk us about that growth. Talk to us about how challenging was that, and what are the biggest challenges when you're growing a small business?
Sure. See, it is not easy when you are a small business owner. You are the one who has to focus on marketing. You are the one who has to look after the accounting side of it. You are the one who has to maintain the client relationship as well. And you are the one who have to maintain good relationship with the employees too. Each aspect of the business has to be looked after by the business owner if you are a small to medium-sized business owners. Put aside the big owners who have HR managers, who have marketing managers. We don't, so we work overnights. We have sleepless nights when we have to make a plan of what to do next, because migration itself is a very volatile industry, as in everything is changing so rapidly. At night, the changes are announced, and in the morning, it's everywhere on social media, and you need to cope up with those changes. So you do need good systems in place. When I say good systems in place, as in your IT system has to be strong. If you have a marketing plan in place, you have to be very quick. You have to act on it in case if it requires changes. You really need a good accounting team as well to look at the numbers, as in what you're making, how much more you can spend. There's a lot of competition in the market. It's not easy to survive, but every day, each day when you work hard, you don't have to worry about the outcome or the fruits. It comes on its own.
On that point, Ginny, now with more employees, more staff, more processes, when you do that, you also want to make sure you hire the right people. And part of that is they represent the same culture. They fit into the company culture, and it doesn't feel like this person doesn't belong here. So how do you ensure that, like what you said, you provide a lot more customized service? Your visa process is for people who have very custom needs. Now, in that kind of situation, how do you ensure your new staff can also cater for that?
Sure. We have set questions which we ask when we are hiring. The most important thing which I emphasize on is you got to be very ethical and honest. Put aside professionalism, put aside being punctual. All of that is, I feel that it's part of your job, being professional, being punctual. Even being ethical and honest is part of your job, but I think that's more of your values. And we emphasize more on value because we try to create value for the client as well. So we do have set questions which we ask while we are hiring, and they're more focused towards the values.
So that is very interesting, Ginny. with all that growth that's come about, it's not easy. You've got two very young children. One of them is as old as my daughter, just over 3 years. So tell me, how do you manage so many different things in the time that you have available? Because it's not easy. So what do you do?
We hear a lot of things about work-life balance, that, we got to have work-life balance. To be honest, first of all, I just want to address what work-life balance is. It's about, how you juggle between your family life and your professional life. Now, when it comes to juggling between the both, at times it does get imbalanced, because sometimes you start giving more time to your work and other events and other social things you do. And then at times, you are at home with your kids, with your family, having more family time. See, what I personally try to do is try to have some boundaries and have some discipline in life. That helps you to maintain. I'm not saying that I do it perfectly, but I try to have boundaries with so many things, as in, if I'm going out, I know that I need to be home by 9:30 if I'm going somewhere after work. Before kids, like my younger one goes to bed around 9:30, I try to be there for him. But when it comes to some work commitments which have to be later in the evening, for example, some social events which we go to, that's also related to work. Maybe we've sponsored that event and sometimes we have to stay. Then I make sure that, I am at home over the weekend. So having a balance of, and honestly, you'll never be like, okay, this is perfect. There's no such thing as being perfect.
Yep.
But you just, try to maintain that, okay, now that I have been out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I make sure that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I am at home. So trying to create a balance is what life is all about. Not having a perfect, I don't think I'll be able to find even one person who would have a perfect work-life balance.
So that is great. You talked about how sometimes you've got commitments and you have to be out as well. One of the things you already mentioned was how you are very strong with your networking. You're there in so many different events. With so much networking, how do you make sure you make the most out of that networking opportunity? I'm sure a lot of small business owners struggle with networking. They can't put an ROI on something like that. It's a marketing activity which you can't put a number on. So how do you go about that? How do you say, what, I'm going to spend X number of hours a week or whatever, and then how do you make sure that you get the most out of that?
Sure. So, again, I just want to say one thing. Sometimes you do think that I'm going to put, let's say, 5 to 8 hours on marketing this week, but then you end up spending 10 to 12 hours, or sometimes you just spend 3 to 4 hours. There is no right or wrong, but yes, if I've made a commitment and to make the most out of it, prior to going to any particular social event, I know the people I am going to meet. I try to do the research. When I say I know the people, it's not the audience, but the other stakeholders, the other sponsors who are there, who have sponsored the event, who are just going to sit next to us. So I try to find out who those people are. If I know them, do they know about me? Because it will not always be like that I know them and they would know me too.
Exactly.
That's not the case. So I look at the fact that, okay, these are the people to whom I don't know. Maybe I can go and speak to them and market our services. And then at that time, they also feel obliged that, they do the same thing in return. But sometimes they just hesitate from initiating that conversation. It is always difficult to start the conversation with someone, but once you master that skill, you find it easy. So I try to do my homework beforehand, before going to the event, to see who else is coming, who are the stakeholders, who are the other sponsors, how is the audience going to be like, and you make your mind that way. You dress up appropriately based on the occasion. I do promote a lot of cultural events, so once you are dressed up culturally, people could easily connect rather than going there with not culture appropriate. That's what I feel.
Yep. That makes perfect sense. So, Ginny, when you started out, you would not have known all of these things. You've probably learned along the way.
Correct.
And I want to ask you this. Do you invest in your own learning? Because without learning new things, you can't really grow your small business. So, do you invest in your own learning? And if so, what are the most important, or what are the most beneficial learning channels for yourself? Whether it's a book, whether you listen to something, Do you get mentorship? Tell me about that. How do you educate yourself constantly?
Every day we learn, and every day is a new challenge. To cope up with that professionally, we do have a set amount of continued professional development training hours which we have to meet to be continued to be registered with the Migration Agents Office. And when it comes to, apart from those number of hours, there are so many other ways we learn. First, we attend a lot of webinars where they talk about business growth, personal growth, having a proper CRM system in place. That creates a lot of when you have a CRM and you talk about leads, you can actually rate the lead in the CRM, which helps you. You can leave detailed notes. Once we've done the consultation, we know if it is a hot lead or a cold lead. We have got the notes there. Sometimes the client does not return straight away. Sometimes they come back to you for another service after years. But once you know that that client I met and these are the notes, because you won't be able to remember everything for a long time.
Yes.
Considering the number of clients we have. So those notes and that CRM system helps you a lot, and having upgrades in that CRM system helps you grow more. For example, in our current CRM system, we have gotten another system which reminds you of things. Because of the busy schedule, sometimes you forget things, and that reminder actually helps us a lot and the team as well. And then apart from that, I would say, yes, you can read. I used to love reading, but I don't find much time anymore. And there was this book about The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. I read that book, which clearly tells you about focusing on your inner health, your inner peace as well, rather than just being outside in the world, being social. That is the part of the life, but your own inner spiritual health has to be strong as well, so that you can survive and fight against the odds.
That is very important, what you just mentioned. I want to understand with that, what does success or what does growth really mean to you? Because when you consider your inner health, your mental peace, which is a very big thing nowadays, everyone's talking about mental health.
True. What
I want to understand is what or how do you define success and how do you define growth in your small business?
It's a small question, but it has a very deeper meaning, I feel. Success I define as if you are happy and you have a happy family, you are already successful. And when I say happy family and you are happy, of course that includes so many factors. You would have a happy family and you'll be happy if you are achieving things day by day. If you are trying to learn day by day. When I say achieving things, it does not have to be big targets. Let's say that I thought I'm going to get home early this evening by 5 or 10 minutes. And if I do that, I think that'll make me happy. If I think that when I wake up, I'm going to make my bed and I do that, that makes me happy. So we always look at happiness in bigger things, but it can actually be found in very, very small things. And that is which will lead you towards success. So doing small things day by day, you'll not even realize that you're becoming successful day by day, and you're growing day by day. Not if I say that I'm going to get home an hour early from today, I clearly know I won't be able to do it. So having realistic targets can make you grow day by day.
That is very good. Yeah. So Ginny, if I asked you, there are a lot of small business owners out there, some of them women with young children in a similar position as yourself. If you were to give them any kind of tips or insights that would help them grow their small business, I'm sure a lot of people look up to you for inspiration as well. What advice would you give someone in your shoes?
I would tell everybody that when you start doing something, it is very, very uncomfortable. When you get into something new, it's very uncomfortable. Just embrace that uncomfort zone. Keep doing it every day. And trust me, within those span of 2 to 3 weeks or a month or 2 months, you will start to have those things on your tips and you'll start to feel comfortable. Change is never easy. So if you think you're going to start a new business today, it is going to be a big change in your life. And initially, you'll be very, very uncomfortable. You'll feel as, why did I even start this? Why did I get myself into this? I should continue to work for someone else. Then I don't have to worry about this. But trust me, when you are in that uncomfortable situation, that means it is leading you towards growth. When you feel that, okay, I tried to do this particular task, but I couldn't accomplish, embrace the failure and just say, that's okay if I failed. No problems. Let me try again. And stay away from those people who tell you that you can't do it, or just tell them that, I'm taking my time. Please give me some space. There is always help available in whatever you do. Seek for help so that you can achieve that particular task and you can attain growth.
On that point of help, Ginny, for all the listeners, all the viewers out there, if anyone wants to reach out to you for help, how can they do that? So,
if anyone wants to reach us for help, for any sort of visas inquiries, you can call us on 045 2299 777. We have just moved to a new office and our new address is 1/33 May Road in Laylaw. You'll have to book a consultation and you can meet us in person. Apart from that, in case if you think that you just want to speak to me about something, for example, sometimes we do hear from a lot of people who want to do migration law, still come and speak to us. I'm more than happy to guide you, and I always support my colleagues and people who want to get into the industry so that, they know the ins and outs beforehand.
Mm-hmm. So, Ginny, if I asked you, give us in brief, just give us bullet points of some of the things that you think are essential for a small business to grow in 2024. Maybe the business is similar to yours. Maybe it's a different business. Maybe it's a man. Maybe it's a woman with children. Whoever it is, coming from different backgrounds, different history. If you have to give them any kind of insights or tips that'll help them grow their business in 2024, what would those things be?
Those things would be ready to accept any change which may come your way. The world is changing rapidly, so you got to be prepared for it. Having a good CRM system in your business can help you grow a lot. Having good marketing techniques, keeping up to date with the technology can help you grow a lot. Time management skills. If you can sort of, if not master, you at least try to meet certain targets with deadlines, you'll grow, and that'll help you a lot. So time management is very, very important. Be disciplined when you try to do things. For example, if you're trying to do something on the computer, don't just look at your phone or any other screen. Try to do that thing first. We know, especially females, we love multitasking. Even I do. At times when you're not multitasking, you feel like, you just can't focus on one thing. But if you start with 5 to 10 minutes focusing on just one thing and not multitasking, I think you'll be able to achieve a lot out of it. Do look after the accounting aspect of your business as well. If you really don't know how to read the balance sheet or a profit and loss statement, that's fine. Go to an accountant, but try to understand how you are going to meet the growing needs of the business. Having a good plan, time management, a good CRM system can help you a lot with the small business.
You said something interesting over there. I know that we were meant to go off, but this is a question I have to ask.
Sure.
You talked about check with your accountant if you're ready for the growth. I know a lot of small business owners have been in a situation where they've taken on growth that they couldn't manage. What indicators or what should a business person look for to make sure they're ready for that growth? They are accounting, they are operational, they are marketing, and their own personal time. They have all of those things available to enable that growth. How does someone look for that? What are the indicators?
If you have got a lot of work to finish and you're not able to manage on your own, but you were previously able to do so because, let's say, previously only had 10 clients, but now you have 20 clients. So having good man force next to you, or when you know that you need to hire 1, 2, or 3 employees for yourself, that clearly indicates that you are growing. if you think that, you have sufficient money lying in your account, and if you hire a particular person, you'll be able to meet the overheads. That clearly shows that, you're growing. Once you understand the criteria of how the P&L, the profit and loss statements and balance sheet works, and towards the end of the year, you know that, okay, this is what my profit is going to be. And if I spend this much money out of my profit on hiring people and having a good system in place, that clearly shows that you're growing. And, I actually heard in one of the podcasts as well, once you have haters, you're growing, which I thought is somewhat true, but yeah. I just thought to mention.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. So, thank you so much for your time today, Ginny. I think you've been tremendous. I appreciate the time you've given us. I'm sure the viewers will also appreciate the insights you've shared from your growth, your story. So thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.